Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. It's been very volatile in the last couple of minutes. Just before we're turning on stream, we've seen Bitcoin and Ethereum both wick to the downside massively on that 1 minute chart. I've got lots of screens up in front of me today. I'm trading, I'm trying to read the news and see what's going on. We will be discussing what's been happening here, whether this was a good thing or a bad thing, what's going on in the markets basically. Let's get straight into it. Before we do, please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. What we've got here, first of all, let's refresh this page and take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently trading at $37,073 and Ethereum is trading at $20,024 to be precise. If we take a look at what's gone on here, we've seen some volatility in the markets, and you can see that on the 1 minute chart here clearly with Bitcoin. We wicked all the way down to $36,676 from $37,100 range for a split second. This was the 1 minute chart. This was one candle that wicked all the way down there. Now, since then, we have seen a bounce to the upside. We do see this pretty frequently in the markets. This is why Bitcoin is called a volatile asset after all. And what we're seeing here is some volatility. Now, if we take a look at the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin, you can see that we are currently within the middle of the range. We are looking at an ascending triangle. Eventually, these lines will meet, and we are seeing that horizontal line there as a support. This is looking at a level of resistance at $38,000 and a level of support at $35,800. Now, we have seen that strong wick to the downside. Now, nothing is financial advice, and I'm not going to give you any financial advice, but look at what's happened previously when we've had these massive wicks to the downside. Typically, after things like this, we do see some nice movements. Now, maybe not necessarily to that level of resistance. We didn't get it this time around after that big wick there. We only managed to get to here. After that big wick there, yes, we did get through, but I think that was off the back of some news. You do tend to see some wicks like this prior to a big move. Now, there are some benefits as well to having this big move we've just seen for Bitcoin, and that is that we have just closed the CME gap. Now, let's take a look at this. We're looking at the hourly chart here. So this is from the Friday candle on the daily chart for the CME. The CME is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Now, they are operational every Monday to Friday. When they close on a Friday, the chart literally just pauses. And then when they open again, the chart just starts from wherever the price of Bitcoin is. Now, on Friday, we had a candle close at around that $36,500 and well, it was at that $36,500 level. And then when we opened the CME again at the start of the new week, we started at $37,075, and as you can see, that creates a gap for the Bitcoin price. Now, that was actually a CME gap, but what's happened here is that has been filled. So these gaps act like magnets for the Bitcoin price, and they are called CME gaps. To fill those gaps, we look for price action within that range following the gap being created. When that occurs, it stops acting like a magnet for the Bitcoin price. Now, on the 1 hour chart, we have officially closed that CME gap. Now, this is pretty common. There are some people that just trade the CME gaps because it is pretty common to see the CME gap being filled the week at the start of the following week from when it is created, and that is exactly what has happened today. So maybe that was the reason as to why we did see that massive pull to the downside there, but either way, it's a win that we no longer have that gap to worry about. We have one currently down at $20,000. We do have that, and we are keeping a close eye on that at $20,000. That was created back in March 2023. Not all CME gaps get closed. There's just a high probability that they will. Now, with that being said, that CME gap has closed. So what's in store for Bitcoin next? Well, right now on the 4-hour chart, we're opening where we're trading currently where this candle opened. If we take a look here, you can see we have a very strong level of support here that we have tested multiple times. That is currently at $35,822. We are still trading within this range. We have not broken out of this range. If we go onto the 1 hour chart, we are looking at something similar here. We are just waiting to see if we are going to manage to retest that level of resistance on the upside. If we take a look at what's going on with Ethereum next, there's some more interesting chart patterns here for Ethereum, I believe. If you take a look at what's happening with Ethereum BTC right now, you can see that we are seeing a reversal, and it is looking like we are getting the potential start of a double bottom there, and a double bottom is bullish, and this would indicate, if this continues to move to the upside, that Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. Now, if we take a look at the Ethereum chart on the daily chart, I have to say this looks pretty inviting. You can see here that we've been in a descending channel for a while. We had a massive move to the upside early last week, was it? The 9th of November, 2 weeks ago. And what we've seen then is a slight pullback for Ethereum, but we've seen a nice confirmation bounce using that previous level of resistance as a support. Now, that is exactly what we want to see when we are looking at the markets here. Now, when we are looking at this, typically, in a hypothetical sense, to get this price target for a breakout trade like this, you would look at the distance between the channel, so the level between the support and resistance, and move that to the point of breakout. Now, that's at $2,460. We are currently trading at $2,024, so that would be a 20% move to the upside. Now, is that likely? What we're seeing here is we have not reached that high since the previous bull market, and we do have some levels of resistance to watch out before we can call for those levels. Really, what I'm looking at here is this horizontal level, and this is the $2,145 level. This has acted like a level of resistance twice. So if we are really going to try and push up to that price target from that channel breakout, we need to get through that first, and I think we need to be looking at these levels. Right now, we are currently at a level of resistance that was acting as a level of resistance back in August 2022. This has been used as a level of resistance twice while we've been in this descending channel as well. Now, we've been in this descending channel since March 2023. This isn't a little one. This is a big channel that we've been in for a while. So that level of resistance may be a tricky one to break through, but if we manage to break through it, then we could be looking up at potentially new yearly highs for Ethereum. And that is exciting, not just for Ethereum, but for the altcoins as well, because when Ethereum is doing well, typically some of the major altcoins perform well as well. So that's why we all get pretty excited off the back of this news. It's pretty turbulent today, but it's enjoyable turbulence, I'd say. We're looking at these right now, and we are keeping a close eye on them after that volatility from Bitcoin just a couple of minutes ago. So we will stay in tune with that, and we will check up on that as we go through today's cryptocurrency news and see what's in store. Before we continue, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Bitcoin is volatile, Ethereum is volatile. Are they bullish? Will we get a spot Bitcoin ETF acceptance today or this week? Hopefully we get something soon. We are all waiting for that. There's been a lot of anticipation around that, and we are actually seeing here that spot ETFs optimism fuels record 8-week streak of crypto ETP net inflows. So we are still seeing excitement, and it is believed to be due to the fact that we are looking at these spot Bitcoin ETF applications and spot Ethereum ETF applications from Blackrock and many other major institutions. Now, if we get the acceptance of these, we've all predicted how exciting this could be, but we do need to be aware there's not a 100% chance that they will get accepted. What we're looking at now is we're seeing talks that the SEC are actually having conversations of how an ETF would work. Now, from my understanding, the options are that either you get given cash, BlackRock get given cash and they purchase the Bitcoin, or they get given the Bitcoin from custody and then they put that into their shares. And it looks like it's going to be cash, I can't remember what the term is, cash in hand or something like this, and it basically means that BlackRock will receive the money and purchase the Bitcoin, and it will happen like that. It means less transactions on the blockchain, and it just is a lot simpler there. But having conversations like this is promising. Let's take a look at what else is going on here in terms of ETFs. Fidelity have filed for a spot Ethereum ETF, trailing BlackRock's lead by 2 days. They did something similar when BlackRock filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF as well. So they are in a race that could change crypto investing in the US forever. I would like to state the importance of these ETFs once again. I know some people don't agree with these ETFs because maybe it doesn't align with the reasons as to why we're in cryptocurrency, but it does bring in a huge amount of possibility. In a bull market, there are so many people that want to get into crypto. So many people hear about crypto and say, oh, I just wish I could get into it, but I just don't have the time to research it. They don't trust centralized exchanges, especially after FTX. Mainstream people that don't know what cryptocurrency is heard about FTX. So they're going to say, oh, maybe I would like to get into Bitcoin, but I don't know what exchange to use and I don't have the time to research it. And after FTX, I don't want to take the risk. People are going to be scared of centralized exchanges and of crypto as a result of all the problems we've seen within the bear market, and that is normal after a bear market. Having a spot Bitcoin ETF, though, removes that problem for a lot of investors. A lot of investors will first of all see that Blackrock are applying and want to get in, creating an ETF and want to get in as soon as that ETF launches. In fact, I actually saw a tweet yesterday of somebody saying they'd gone to a party and they'd spoke to someone and they said, about Bitcoin, and then the person they were speaking to was like, oh, I'll get in when BlackRock launched the ETF, and he was like, but you can get into it now, and the guy was like, no, I'm gonna wait until the ETF comes until I can buy. So there is actually buying pressure coming potentially after the ETF as well. Some people are front running the ETF applications, and some people are actually just waiting for it to launch so they can buy into it instead. So there is some excitement there as well. Now, the reason people will use these ETFs is because they don't want to research cryptocurrency, but they want to get exposure to the space. It would be so much easier for a traditional investor to get into cryptocurrency if we have ETFs in the markets. So they do bring huge advantages for us, and they are something that I personally am very excited about. Hopefully you can see the potential of this. We all know people that wanted to get in the last cycle but didn't have the time or didn't know how, and having an ETF just makes it so much simpler for investors to get exposure to the cryptocurrency space, and eventually maybe those investors will learn how to use self-custody, how to store their keys correctly. And I think even people that have researched cryptocurrency and understand self-custody, some people do choose to not get in because of self-custody. People do say, do you know what? I don't want to be responsible for my own money. I don't want to have to keep these 12 words safe and my life depends on it. I don't want to do that. That shies some people away as well. Although some people come into the space for self-custody, some people choose not to enter the space because of it. So having these options for the space is really important. And this is the kind of thing we're going to see as the industry grows more and more. Let's take a look at what's going on in the chat here. Before we continue, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Let's see what's going on in the next news article here. We've got AVAX, Solana, and Rune lead the way as Bitcoin consolidates. So what we've seen is Bitcoin has kind of slowed down slightly. We saw some consolidation here and then a pump and then some more consolidation here before that 1 minute candle spooked the markets. What we're seeing here is Ethereum is bouncing. Now let's take a look at this here on the 1 hour chart. So in this 1 hour chart here, you can see on the daily chart for Ethereum, first of all, we have this descending channel, and we have used that previous level of resistance as a support right now. And on the 1 hour chart, we are getting right now a confirmation bounce on that previous level of resistance because we are in a symmetrical triangle. Now, that bounce hasn't been confirmed yet. That candle has not been closed. But what we are seeing here is the potential that this resistance is flipping into a support. And we are looking at a level of support from this triangle at around 1,968. And that level of previous resistance is at $2,018. Now, we are on the brink of heading back into the $2,030 level range, which is brilliant to see for Ethereum. In terms of altcoins, we are seeing them pump as well, as we've just said in that article there. Let's take a look at what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news. We've got Bitcoin generates $11 million in transaction fees in just 24 hours, which is twice as much as Ethereum. So that is a huge amount of transaction fees being paid on the network to Bitcoin miners. Let's see what else is going on here. We've got pro-Bitcoin candidate has secured victory in Argentina's presidential elections. So hopefully we'll see some positivity coming from that as well. We all know that El Salvador did make Bitcoin a legal tender during the last bull market. We haven't actually seen too many it's El Salvador, the people in El Salvador, I don't know the term, we haven't actually seen them adopt Bitcoin as much as expected, but Bitcoin is a volatile asset. It can be seen as a hedge against inflation, but when we have bear markets, it's a difficult time. Let's see what's going on here. Argentina is suffering from persistent high inflation, with year-on-year inflation breaching 140% in just 1 month last month, an almost five-fold increase since 2020. So if you're looking at the inflation rates like that, and you're seeing Bitcoin, and you can educate yourself on Bitcoin, it's hard to not see the advantages here. So hopefully he can do some good there and help protect people in Argentina against that hyperinflation. Let's see what else is going on here in the markets. SBF. Now, right, so when FTX first said that they were pausing withdrawals, we had that Martini guy here on this channel, and every single day his predictions get more and more accurate. So first of all, he said FTX will relaunch as a centralized exchange, and he said SBF will somehow manage to get a very short sentence or get away with it scot-free. And what we've seen here is SBF granted post-trial extension, indicating potential appeal strategy or reducing sentence. And we are also seeing the potential of an FTX relaunch very, very soon, with investors very keen to relaunch that. So these predictions are looking more and more accurate as the time goes on. Now, at the time, the idea of FTX relaunching was something that a lot of people disagreed with. And the idea of SBF getting anywhere close to anywhere less than 115 years, it seemed, was a very unpopular opinion. But now, as time is going on, it's looking more and more likely. Anyway, let's move on to the next story here today. I'm sure a lot of you have heard what's happened in AI over the weekend. Sam Altman, the co-founder and CEO of OpenAI, who creates ChatGPT, was removed from the company by the board. And then another co-founder said they were going to leave the company. And then all of the colleagues in OpenAI said, unless you bring Sam back, we're all quitting, and you also have to remove all of the people on the board currently. So there's been a massive change of what's happening in OpenAI right now. There's been lots of, what's the word? A lot of, not bribing. There's been a lot of, well, if you don't do this, I won't do that kind of thing in the markets over the weekend. Now, AI tokens are surging as a result of this. They're up 9% amid OpenAI leadership saga. We are seeing Singularity net post average return of 45% during the past 30 days. Now, AGI is excluded from IP licenses. This is some news that's come out of this. We are all investigating this to try and understand what's happening here. Big changes are going on, and I think it's really important to note here something that has been identified. So we can see here the removal of Altman and the appointment of Emmett Shear signals a pivotal moment in the organization's strategic journey, especially in light of OpenAI's current structure and its pursuit of artificial general intelligence. Notably, Microsoft's stock saw an uptick of 4% in pre-market trading, reflecting the market's response to the news of Altman and Greg Brockman joining Microsoft as a new AI research initiative. So what we've seen here is after Cardano founder proposed Sam Altman join his decentralized large language model initiative, Sam Altman did unfortunately choose to stay away from Web3 for now and join Microsoft AI research teams. And instead, we are seeing the Twitter founder take over as CEO in OpenAI. So lots of shifts going on here, but what's important to note here is the board determines that we've attained AGI. Again, by AGI, we mean a highly autonomous system that outperforms humans at most economically valuable work. Such a system is excluded from IP licenses and other commercial terms with Microsoft, which only apply to pre-AGI technology. So what we're seeing here essentially is what this technology is doing is it's answering questions. And then what's happening currently is then the human feeds it how it's wrong, and then it corrects it, and then it gets better and better and better. But this technology can just improve upon itself, and that loop is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, so it can just continue to resolve issues after issues after issues until it gets things perfect. And what we're seeing here is AGI, it's autonomous systems that outperform humans at most economically valuable work. Now, this is really important here. A lot of people are scared away by the idea of OpenAI's project and what technology they are building there, how it could affect us all, how it could change all of our jobs. And it is something that we need to be watching out for, because the more they develop it, the more risk that we are seeing. And we're seeing a lot of the big researchers in the AI space highlighting the concerns around AI and the developments and what it could mean for humanity as a whole. Let's see what else is going on here in the news. We are looking at that OpenAI story. So Sam Altman is now going to work for Microsoft AI research teams, and the Twitch founder is taking over as OpenAI CEO. I have seen a tweet from him today. He said he is going to get an investigator to research how the company has managed to get to this point, where they're removing Sam Altman and they're having these kind of debates on who should be managing it, and having these kind of debates on whether it should be a non-profit organization or a profit-driven organization, and all of that kind of stuff. He's going to really investigate that and try and learn as much as possible what has happened within the last couple of months, and then make informed decisions from that. So it'll be really interesting to see how OpenAI continues within the next couple of months with this change of management. We'll keep an eye on that. But let's take a look at anyway what's going on with Bitcoin before we close off today's stream. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Ethereum is pumping right now. It's at $2,035 here today. We are seeing a nice move to the upside, 2,036. If we go onto the 5-minute chart, it's absolutely pumping after that 1 wick move to the 1 minute wick to the downside. It did just touch $1,990 moments ago, and it is now at $2,040. That is a 2.5% increase in what is that 46 minutes, which is something that you only see in crypto. This is why we're all grateful to be here. If you take a look on that 4-hour chart, you can see why I've drawn these lines where I have. On the 1-hour chart, it's just as clear. We've had a confirmation bounce of that previous level of resistance. It's now at $2,037. If this candle closes in the next 3 minutes, we can show that that previous level of resistance has been used as a level of support. And maybe we can continue to see this pump a little bit longer, which would be very, very nice. But that is all we have for today's stream. So thank you very much for tuning in with me, as always. I hope you have enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Before we go, actually, we have a very special guest on the live stream tomorrow at 5 p.m. UK time. We're going to have Miss Teen Crypto here on the live stream, so make sure to put your reminders on for that. I will be tweeting that out very, very soon. But you're the first to know here on the live stream, so I'll be tweeting that out, so make sure to hit the reminder button as soon as you see that so that you don't forget. But that's all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching, and we will be back here tomorrow. Goodbye.